All right, we're back here at Bloodbath Tactics. We're missing Ben today, but we got the rest of the crew. We got Fraiser.
Hello.
David.
I woke up and I was born to pod today.
Oh, born to pod.
Born to pod.
Don't ever say that again.
Okay. Well, and today we wanted to talk about. We have a few big tournaments coming up in the next couple months, especially for teams events. We found online too. I don't really see much about teams events or like how to build a proper team or or team composition. What are we trying to do? We wanted to bring that to you guys and give share our thoughts on it and how we bring a successful team and why is a list different than a singles list. There's lots to talk about there. We got some pros here, so let's get into it.
So I think that there's kind of another structure you need to have is whether it's a duos, a 4-man, a 6-man, or an 8-man, because pairings change a lot and your list change a lot depending on like how big like the pairings are in the team tournament. Like I'm a huge advocate for 4 and sometimes even 6-man events. Honestly, just bringing your best singles list.
Right, but WTC does 8-mans, and we just did I guess as a practice for WTC, the prior tournament that just happened about 2 weeks ago.
Yep.
Yeah, so that was a big test. I think the highest scoring. Oh, I think it was Germany that won. I think Germany took it, and it was with Votan actually had the most points.
Tim Schneider with Votan. Yeah.
Which is pretty cool. He had a pretty cool interview on Art of War. I listened to that too over the weekend, so it was pretty awesome.
Tim's pretty cranked though. Like you have to understand that like when at the World Championships, like there were a lot of guys I was talking to that thought like he was the favorite to win, just because he's like completely like numbers, and like if you asked him about it, he went down like every single list in the top 8, and he could tell you exactly how they would deploy and exactly like what would happen like every turn of the game. So it was kind of he ended up losing. But it's kind of like Tim is just kind of a freak of nature with Votan.
Is he kind of like does he practice like deployments for TTS and like, oh, this is exactly what I want to do, takes pictures of it, and then like goes up to a match and like, I know where exactly I'm deploying.
He's just because
there's people out there that do that.
He's just really good, and he's also got 500 plus reps of like Votan in 10th edition. So it's.
I think he said 1,000 on Art of War. I think he said 1,000.
Is he in the Art of War house? Does he play full time? Is this his
He's
job?
in Germany.
Yeah, he's he just went best overall at the prior.
That's wild.
The Pyra or whatever.
Yeah.
I play a lot of 40K. I think I put in 150 games in 10th so far.
Yikes.
Yeah. I think I'm up there too. Yeah.
Yeah, I play a lot.
Yeah.
How many times a week are you playing right now, Dave?
Like twice.
Oh.
Twice, yeah.
Yeah, me too. Twice?
Yeah.
3 times? How many times do you play?
Like once or twice a month, maybe.
No, that's a lie.
No,
that's such a lie.
No.
You're at the chats. Oh, get TTS for me. Let me clap your cheeks.
No, seriously. Okay, first of all, I talk a lot of shit in the chat anyway, but I've been playing a lot because I've been practicing Inari, but even like with World Leaders, I was getting like 1 or 2 practice games between events just because I'm like crazy busy. And I live in Okotoks, and nobody wants to drive out to Okotoks, and I didn't get TTS up and running until like 2 months ago.
That's true. That's true.
I think the results are going to show this season.
For you?
For you.
For me? Okay, anyway, so back to teams. So I'm a huge proponent of singles lists in smaller team events because I think that, as you mentioned, like the Pyra tournament and WTC kind of leads you to believe that you need to list skew and bring like a horde list or a knight list or a like whatever in teams because that's what people do in like larger professional team events.
Yeah, you're talking team composition.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But you run the risk of just running into 4 good all-round singles lists and just getting completely run over.
Yeah. I think in any teams format, you start when you're planning, when you're group chats, you just start with your best singles lists. And from there, you say, where can I tech? Who has the flexibility in the armies and the models to go in a direction of and skew a certain way depending on what the meta is looking like and what's strong. And then you can sort of flex from there. But in 8-man teams, you're probably 6 of your lists are probably your strong singles lists.
For sure.
Yeah.
And then you have, your 2 good skew lists that you can throw into matchups that you needed to.
Yeah.
Right? Like you'd want to throw knights into Grey Knights if you could.
Oh, for sure.
Right?
Likewise, you probably want to throw your Emperor's Children or your Yannari into World Eaters or something like that.
Yeah, exactly. And that really goes down to the archetypes and everything too. I mean, we got a 5-man team coming up at the end of March, and there's also a 6-man team coming up in Edmonton In a 6-man, how does the pairings work for the viewers?
So basically, traditionally, the 2 defenders get put down from each team, and then they're revealed at the same time. And then the other team offers 2 attackers. And then the defending team picks one of the 2 attackers to match up against the defender. And this is happening the same on the other side as well. And then whoever wasn't picked is returned to the pool, and it's kind of like rinse and repeat, basically. And they get to like choose their tables in and throughout there, but that's kind of a less important.
Well, and usually the tables can vary on terrain. So you have a light terrain, medium terrain, heavy terrain on all 3 of the tables.
It doesn't as much as it used to. I think that now that we have very like standardized terrain, even the light terrain is like not bad for melee armies.
Yeah, it's more just like it depends on the event you're going to. I know a lot of the events in Western Canada don't follow WTC terrain, even if it's a team event. Whereas in the East, even all of their singles events are WTC terrain.
Yeah.
And the light, heavy, and medium, the footprints are all the same. It's just the size of the terrain, and can you fit a knight or a predator behind this piece? And that's sort of the light, medium, heavy.
Yeah, and it's worth looking at and like kind of getting a background on like the city or the event space that you're like competing in as well, just to kind of know like the terrain availability. So like this past weekend, there was the Wheat City Open in Brandon, and I got a photo of the terrain, and they tried to do like half WTC, but every table was missing a large L in a singles events. So it was your regular table, and then there was 3 pieces like scattered across like that, and then 3 on this side, and then that was it.
Isn't that UKTC? Isn't it almost the same? Because they are always usually missing 1 L, and it's all kind of shifted.
It was that was almost like nothing in the backfield though.
Yeah,
they were definitely shorter on terrain.
But it's like they have different staging points, and then it's not a block; it's more of an actual L. Like you can hide in that terrain piece with a knight and not be seen, and it goes up to infinity as an L, as opposed to going up as a block, so you can't really just stop.
Right. I actually have I have that terrain at my house. I have the WTC like actual like L's that are like 3 stories high.
Right.
Yeah.
Those are the ones that clip in together or whatever.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I saw that actually. You brought that to that one tournament.
I think I did. Yep.
Yeah.
But yeah, no.
Not the table that fell down and broke.
No, no.
And,
luckily, so our side, our deployment collapsed at that event. Our deployment zone, like our side of the table, collapsed. But because Nate was like Black Legion and I was World Leaders, I was already on the other side of the table by round 2. So my army was completely fine on the other side.
And the army with 120 models.
And Nate's army's just decimated when it's staging. And we're like, do we just talk this out or what do we do? And then we set it all back up again and kept going.
Do you guys remember where they were? Kinda.
Yeah.
Yeah, and a loud club.
Kind of, sort of. But yeah, no. So we got a few big teams events coming up. So do you have an example of like what your team comp is for the BC event coming up?
Come on. I can't reveal that.
Yeah, you can. just like a general outline.
Yeah. Okay. So what the idea is for the 5 of us is all to each take an archetype and counter that archetype. So it's not just about having your best singles list. It's like, all right, we need Kass to have a blunt anti-melee rush army. Okay, that's the one archetype we want. Okay, well, we have that with Death Guard. All right, now do you have a hardcore shooting list? Something that can kind of play into almost anything, at least into open terrain or into spaces that want to move slow. So that would be like an Ultramarines list.
Yeah.
Right? Or we can try to use that against like our bigs, like our Greater Demons or Knights. I'm not so sold on Ultramarines killing Knights, but it's something better to it.
It sounds like you're just taking your best singles lists.
No, I wouldn't. My Death Guard list is not a singles list at all. It's very, very anti-melee. Like it's you know, you got the two big bricks of Death Shroud. You got some fight first. You got some bullshit. What's up?
I hate Death Guard.
What's up, man?
Well, with Yanari, I don't give a crap. But World Leaders going into that is a nightmare.
Yeah. And then we have what else we can do and kind of fill the holes, right? So it is only 5 man. So again, it is mostly your best singles list. But I think you do need to have 1 to 2 skew lists to kind of make up for
sure.
At least make up for some errors or make up for some bad matchups and force the opponent onto a bad matchup when they're trying to defend.
Yeah.
And that would be simply like, okay, well, shit, I'm Fraiser. I don't want to see Death Guard at all. Okay, we're gonna put him up as a defender. right off the bat, right? Because you don't want it to fall into the Death Guard at all.
Yeah, and I think that lists aside, like I think the argument for like good singles lists still kind of stands, because in the game itself, unless there's like an egregious outlier army that's like significantly better than everything else, all the armies are kind of like rock, paper, scissors anyway.
Sure.
And certain armies naturally are going to be better into others. So I think in 4 and 5, 6 man events, you kind of manage faction matchups with like good singles lists, maybe with one skew list. But even then you're running the risk of, if you bring a skew list, it might just get the option of 2 like all-comer general like good singles lists that get put up against it, and then it just gets run over.
Yeah.
So,
or it's like it loses to a 12-8 and you're like, fuck. Like I could have actually just stopped somebody or rolled somebody. Yeah. And now I'm
in
losing.
4-mans, if you bring a skew list, there's a really good chance that no more than 2 of those people that you're facing are going to have an answer for your skew list, though. So in 4-mans, you can actually justify taking a skew list a bit more. Same for 6-mans. 8-mans, if you skew, then you're just taking a way bigger list or risk, because there's a better chance 8 people are going to have an answer for your skew.
Sure.
Than 4 people.
And what's a good example of a skew list?
3 Bags, a Cursed,
Like
some
your
of those,
list,
some of the like Fabius Bile's creations, like a Pressure Terminator list, or with Chosen or something like that. I don't know.
I think in general there's like generalist skew factions too. Like Death Guard will always be a very good anti-melee, just because their rules. Knights, you'll always want to, like, Knights can stat check the hell out of some people and stat check. Same with like Slaanesh Demons, but they definitely have some bad matchups that you want to kind of like stay away from.
Custodes, Warden, Spam.
Yeah. And the thing is, when you do, like, and this goes to the point of having a good singles list to a skew list, you might just get it, like what you said, you might just get paired up to the bad matchup because, I skewed up for you, but well, they just paired you out, and now you have to deal with this problem.
You've made a mistake if that happens in your pairing process.
Sure.
Or you got,
again,
your bluff was called.
Your bluff was called, or you went against a good all-rounder 5 team and you just screwed anyways, right? Yeah.
I think that another mistake I see commonly is people early in the pairing process try to avoid like a bad matchup, and then later on, because they've like kind of danced around and stuck somebody as a defender to avoid one bad matchup, they've kind of really screwed 2 matchups later in the pairing process. And you can do that by offering up the wrong person, and sometimes you just kind of like need to kind of take a punch and put somebody into like what's going to be like a 14-6 or whatever loss. Just to avoid like screwing like 2 of your teammates. Yeah. So a lot of it comes from sitting down like before the tournament. It's nice, like sit down with like a few drinks and kind of go through the other list of the tournament.
Make a matrix.
A little bit of
How do you guys make your matrices? We like to go through every single individual team member and allocate a score for each of their matchups, 1 to 3, 3 being good, 1 being bad. And that gives us an idea of, who can we put down as a defender, what matchups do we avoid at all costs. If you have a cool way that you do your matrices, let us know.
So we can copy it and then win it. Team events.
And then we're going to take it. Beat you. Oh, what's your matrix?
Yeah. Why don't you send us your matrix for any events that we're also at with you?
Well, why don't we get into it for people who don't maybe not understand what a matrix really is? Why don't you go over that then?
For sure. So we'll use 4-man teams, for example. We'll use us. We have Death Guard, Yanari, Grey Knights, and Ben Knights.
And Ben Knights.
So we know that Ben might have a couple really bad matchups because some armies just wreck Knights.
What does wreck Knights right now, though?
I think Votan's really good into that.
Votan, yeah. World Eaters.
World Eaters are really good. Guard,
yeah.
Yeah.
So basically, when lists are released, everybody knows what they're playing, and then you can see every other person's teams. So maybe it's a 10-man or 10-team event. You go through all the teams, and you say, okay, Team X has these 4 factions. I do well into one of them. I'm average into the other, and bad into the last one. So I would allocate a score of 3, 2, 2, 1. And you go through that process for every single person on your team. And at the end of it, you kind of figure out a game plan. Who do you think we should put as the defender based off what our matchups look like? So generally in a 4-man, I'm just using 4-man teams, but generally in a 4-man, you're going to put somebody that has one bad matchup and the rest average or good matchups, because then you can guarantee they don't hit that bad matchup. In the case where there's somebody with 2 bad matchups, you generally will not put them down unless you can take a risk and guess that one of that person's bad matchups are going to be put as a defender. There's a lot of mind games that go into it, and you kind of have to guess in the permutations and combinations that can happen. But if you go through that process, you will likely have better matchups when you're doing the pairing process.
You've been bragging about how good Grey Knights are, though, so I'm going to make sure I'm doing all the pairings for Edmonton. I'm just going to stick you into
I always do the pairings, Fraser. I don't trust you.
No, that was...
Let me do the pairings.
That was one time Adam makes a great matrix, but that was one time we're in Edmonton. We're in Edmonton.
Was Edmonton against us when you got first and we got second?
No, it wasn't against you guys.
Yeah, it was. Yeah.
Well, it wasn't against them. It was
round
round
4. We didn't play them. Yeah, we did, but this was in our... No,
this is the next round
This is
after
when
you
we're
played
playing
us.
Trident.
That's round 2 of
Oh,
day
yeah,
one.
yeah.
We're playing like Trident, which is like a good team. And we're like, okay, whatever we do, we cannot put down, I think it's Nate first.
Yeah, he can put down Nate.
Because Nate brought like a big like Chaos Cults Horde list, and they had 2 really good anti-Horde armies. So I think Adam wrote down who he was going to put down, and then like he puts down the card, and then they flip over the card, and it's Nate. The one person we could not put down, or like the matchup becomes significantly worse. And Adam's like, I didn't mean to. And we're like, dude, how hard is it to read a name on a card and then put it down? So Adam had to grab his piece of paper and he's like, look, I wrote it down. I wrote down who we were putting down. And it was.
Luckily, Trident was gracious and they realized, it's just Adam. And
leave Adam as a behind the scenes kind of guy.
Yeah.
He makes decisions, but he doesn't make the decisions. He doesn't act on the decisions. Yeah. Oh, wow. And you guys still came up on top of that one too, right? You went into Votan.
Yeah, I was playing Ryan McLeod.
Yeah, and then you just did a 10-10 draw, I think, on that one.
Yeah, I played Scotty Awakened.
You drew.
I didn't drop a game. Give me a break.
I think that tournament, you just took the blunt end of it all.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, you were just taking the bad matchups and just getting you a 10-10 if you could.
I got a 20-20 and 2 10s, so give me a break. Whatever.
But yeah.
That's an important thing too in teams, is like sometimes you just have that one guy you're not going to have a good time this tournament. You're just going to be taking the bad matchups and you're just going to try to bring the score right to a 10-10, or if you can win.
That's a dedicated role in any teams, is just take like your Death Guard or your Awakened Necrons and you put them against the worst matchup. And they are guaranteed to score at least an 8 in most cases.
I think on the other side of that, and something we're talking about right now in our group chat, is also what lists you want to bring that have the capability to 20-0 average matchups. Yeah. Because it's important to have the 10-10, but it's also important to bring like heavy swinging factions to cover for. And that's where the argument is of, do I bring my World Eaters or do I stick with the Ynnari? Because Ynnari are good. Like very good, and I've to play more events with them to see if they're capable of like 20-0ing like fairly easily. But like world leaders are the list, and they're still the army that can put people away, especially if they get a buff coming up in this data slate.
Yeah,
I
don't think they will though, because their codex is so soon, right? Like it's what would be the point? Like hey, you got a new rule change to get another rule change later in a couple weeks. Probably unlikely. Point changes for sure. That could be your buff. You could maybe see decrease in 8-bound, and then you could fit in another Jackal.
8-bound might be the last
they don't
thing
need
that they ever decrease.
Anger on increase? Fuck.
I already have 15 8-bound in my competitive list, and they're all in like MSU, and they are the backbone of that army. But yeah, so
but you know what I mean though, right? Like,
hot take, I think anything that's 45% win rate right now is actually perfectly balanced.
Okay. Can you elaborate?
Yes.
Yeah.
who
So
the hell is this guy?
So everything that's above like a 52% win rate is just too strong, because the average win rate is exactly that. It's average. It's good players playing it to a high level, it's average players playing it, and then it's, your casual players playing it too, and all of that is going above a 52% win rate. So what's Eldar right now? Does anyone know? What's the highest?
Yannari's 60.
60?
Yeah.
But isn't Slanesh Demons like 66?
Slash Demons was like 63 this last weekend or something.
Yeah,
Okay, so
they're also, and then even
Bridgehead
and Demonic Incursion.
Bridgehead's supposed to be hard to play too, and it's like a 55.
Yeah.
Demonic Incursion's up there as
so
well.
you got
I don't really see anybody winning tournaments, but they're just like dominating mid-table.
I'll tell every single, sometimes like I won't watch full games online, but sometimes I'll click on it just to see like who's playing, if it's a name I recognize. And every single time, like Sunday night, so the last round of an event, 80% of the event links I clicked on had a Yannari in the finals. And it was like, oh yeah, this is a problem.
I also think that maybe not in the finals, like maybe it's just a stream table, probably because they're selecting, oh hey, Yannari's at the top. It's the new popular faction right now. They're going to put it into the stream more often.
They'll usually
they're also
feature the undefeated players. So usually by the Sunday night, it's either like the semifinals or the finals. And there was a lot of Yannari that I saw.
But are they good at scoring primary?
They are the best army.
They are the best scoring primary. And secondary then too.
Well, secondary they're Eldar.
So they're always scoring.
Yeah, but you have I'm gonna give it another Yannari episode. They have a sticky on Death Strat. They have a sticky on Death Strat. When you shoot them, after the shooting phase is done, they move. And they can use that to stand on the primary. They can use that to move a Wave Serpent 15 plus D6 inches to then contest your back primary. Like the primary game they play is actually unbelievable.
Nice. It's better than Knights?
The Knights is a stipulation because Knights are OC8, so it doesn't matter if I run on my Warp Spiders. I'm only going to have 5 OC on there.
That's right.
So it's, Chaos Knights with their indirect is a horrible matchup. Imperial Knights is not great, but manageable. But yeah. So I think back to the general team statement. I think you just have to be on top of what your expected scores are. And everybody has like kind of designated roles within a team with some degree of flexibility as well. So we know like who we want to be scoring the large points. So then we can afford to have like 2 or 3 matchups that are like kind of middling in that 12, 8, 10, 10 range.
Yeah, just in case like Fraiser gets 20-0'd, you got to have, like Adam who's going to 20-0 somebody else to make up for that.
Just cancel it out.
Yeah.
Okay, we got one guy on our team. We got to cancel out every round. Yeah.
How ethical is communication between tables?
Ooh, good question.
It's up to the TO and the judge, but I always ask before, and I get a clear answer from the TOs just because I want to know if you're going to 20-0 somebody. I want to know if you're getting 20-0'd, and I want to tell you if I'm 20-0ing or getting 20-0'd. Really, I just want to tell my teammates my score, because at the end of turn 5, you could make a risky play and swing it if we want to get out of a draw situation or if we need to make a draw situation.
Yeah, well, my World Leader games are a little bit longer, so I didn't appreciate in Edmonton last year when David and Adam would finish their games first, then come up to me, put their hand on my shoulder and say, "Your game doesn't matter." So I think there's definitely a usefulness. I think the usefulness comes from going up to your buddy and saying, "Hey, like we need you to pull out at least 15-5 for us to tie or like win."
But can it be that specific or more? I think it's more like cryptic. It's more like, are we up? Are we down?
Or
like, where are
just
we
like,
at?
We need you to put up a big
Sometimes you need to know specific numbers.
Sure.
And some tournaments, team events,
they don't allow it.
don't allow it.
Well, because you can redraw secondaries, you can play differently, and then just rely on maybe making lucky saves. You can,
But I think in proper team format, you should be allowed to. And, you're already absorbing so much information in the game state. Like having somebody come up to you and telling you, it's a 15-5. We need you to get one more point. Sometimes is meaningless. Like you're just trying to, you're just trying to like think of what you have to do next. But yeah, figure out with your TO before you start communicating, because it can be deemed as cheating.
For a strategic advantage, we could get microchips implanted in our brains
Ooh.
So we could actually argue before the tournament that communication shouldn't be allowed.
I don't want all your thoughts in my head.
But we're
They're
actually
so twisted. He's like, oh, those Yunari.
and the table putting down the in-card. Oh God.
Oh God. So good. It's coming up.
So good.
Coming up.
So good. Yeah, no. The only problem I run into playing Inari is everything they do is a gotcha.
Yeah.
So it's like, unless I'm playing the game for the other person, like within reason, like there's something I will tell somebody is if you move here, I get to move my Rangers D6, and then if you charge them, now they're in range of heroic intervention. My fight's first squad.
I can't wait to call a judge over to our table and be like, "This guy's deliberately withholding."
He's on your team,
information
though.
for me.
No, I'm talking to
If we're playing, we did the matchups horribly wrong. Something was lost in communication.
That's funny.
Yeah, but team events like
and playing a well, sorry to interrupt you here,
No,
but
you're
playing a Yunari army, there is obviously a lot of gotchas. Now, how are you as a sportsman to your opponent when it comes to that? I know you haven't really played in a competitive event yet.
Yeah.
But how are you going to be? Like, you're going to give them like, oh, hey, I did tell you this. Okay, fine, take this back. And then the next time it happens, I mean, then that's it, right? They know you've told them again.
It depends on the state of the game. So this is a fine line because I don't want to be a dick with it. Mm-hmm. I play a collaborative game where I play with intent because then I think there's the least amount of feels bad moments.
For sure.
So even if it's detrimental, we'll walk through. If you move here, then I can do this, and then this happens. So it's just somebody having all the information because I don't want to feel like I won a game just because my opponent forgot something.
I think gotchas can only get you so far.
I want to win a game because I put myself in my situation where it doesn't matter what I can do in response. My opponent has to do that to be able to stay competitive in the game.
Yeah. I have a good example of that. Played Sector regularly, and Og's Cadre has one specific strat that is a huge gotcha. It's gonna completely turn games. It can flip 10 points every turn if you don't remember. And the strat is when you charge a Tau unit at the end of the fight phase, they can fall back. And if it's on a Riptide, they can move their full distance, which is, 12 inches.
I don't think it's when you charge. I think it's just at the end of the fight phase.
No, it's at end of the fight phase. So if you survive the fight phase, you can make a fallback move and just move on to a primary. Or you can deny area denial, for example.
Yeah.
Or,
and that can start their primary scoring.
Yeah, so you can flip an area denial and take that primary from them. That's 10-point swing just from a strat. So he got that. He very justly told me, if you do that, I will do this.
I was about to be like, are you about to call out Matt Sector for gotchaing you?
By turn 4, it's my fault.
And after I did that, I made the charge, and he told me that strat, and I had area denial at the time, so he's like, if you do that, I'll do this. I was like, okay, I'm not going to do that. And I think he did his due diligence there, and he did not have to remind me again. And if I did do something and he used that strat, it would have been on me.
Sure.
He warned me once. He warned a big play that he could do once because it was game knowledge I didn't have, or maybe he told me at the start of the game when I was trying to absorb knowledge and do the table setup and set up my deployment and do a bunch of other stuff, and I'm not listening. And he was charitable enough to let me know one time of his strat, so that on turn 5 when it actually made a difference, it wasn't going to gotcha me. I knew the strat. I could play around it. And of course, when you play around a strat, you still have to play around it. And there's usually a disadvantage you take for playing around it.
And when a strat like that too, exactly, when you're setting up the table and they're telling you the strat, okay, I understand what happens. But then until you see it actually in practice, you don't quite get it. And so in that scenario, hey, are you charging here? I'll just fall back if you don't kill me and deny that. Oh my God. That's crazy.
That's the game.
Yeah, that's nuts. Okay, then I won't. And then hopefully I remember that for next time. I think I charged it, killed a unit of whatever, Riptides. Then I tagged the broadsides thinking, just tag his stuff so he can't shoot. Just like any other town matchup.
Yeah.
Oh, no, I can do this. And then he completely denied primary. I was like, that's amazing. Yeah. But that was my fault by then because I knew about it.
Yeah. To be honest, I have kind of a weird approach to that where I won't actually ask a lot of questions in practice games. because I want stuff like that to happen, and I want to lose because of that, and then that'll never happen again in a game in like a tournament. But in tournaments, it's important to like have full disclosure. But I think that's where I kind of have a weird advantage because it doesn't matter what you do. Like if you don't shoot a unit, then the units are still alive. If you shoot a unit, then it's bleeding on the objective. If you kill it and then something else is moving, and if you shoot it and you don't completely kill it, then they have a 1 CP strat to shoot you back. And that's like either Fire Dragons or like Dark Reapers, and there's just not really there's no way around it. You have to go through one of the doors. It's like watching it. It's like scary, even scarier, not scary at all. But they're all shitty, and it's like you just have to like pick one of them to like kind of take to the face, and then yeah.
With that analogy, I guess the only way to beat you is to not be afraid.
Yeah.
Because then you'll turn into a little bitch.
Yeah. I can confirm I am a little bitch. Yeah.
Little bitch.
Meta chaser.
Yeah.
Yeah,
that is true, actually.
I don't think you are, because you already own most of the models.
They were never used before, though.
In 9th edition, though, right? You used Harley Quinns. So
Harlequins weren't, Harlequins, and I still like I would probably take Harlequins to a single event if I didn't do anything else. Like, that'd be fine. Like, they're a fun army, whatever.
You heard it here. He's going to the Classic.
No, I'm not.
Do it.
With Harley Quinn.
Go to Fools. There's no golden ticket on
Everybody's expecting me to run Ynnari for all summer, but depending on when the World Leaders Codex drops, I think that might be my army for the Classic. Because Thomas and I had a conversation. He said, even if I scored 0 points in the final round of the Classic, because of all my battle points for the rest of the tournament, my sportsmanship, and the painting on World Leaders, I still would have got overall in like one of the golden tickets. And because Morgan Smerrick did such a good job painting like my Angron and everything, that's one of the biggest hits and one of the biggest arguments for me taking World Leaders to singles events is they do put me in the running for best overall because they're painting, whereas I'm painting a lot of my Ynnari. and we all know that's
like the best wooden spoon.
It's like finger. You could honestly like get a kid to finger paint your models, and it would probably look more competent than. And I'm trying. Like I'm trying. But yeah, I'm just not very good at it at all.
You should play Knights. You can paint bigger models.
Yeah.
Hold bigger paint brushes.
Did you know one of my first models?
Use the transfer sheets a lot easier.
One of my first models ever was actually one of the big Knight Tyrants. Because I was playing Morgan, and Morgan and I were going back and forth, and I was like, I need something bigger to be able to kill his stuff. So I bought Magnus, and then I bought a Knight. And then I got into like Chaos Monster Mash, but that's beside the point.
Did you paint a Magnus? I want to see that.
Just
spray can, rainbow.
I've actually, like, to be honest, before Harlequins in 9th, I never painted any of my own stuff because Morgan, like, my buddy from Regina was like a G with that stuff. Like, we got into a hobby together, and like we played probably twice a week during COVID. So like I was getting a lot of games in, and then I came out of that. And like immediately won like the first tournament I went to, and like it's all because like we were practicing against each other the whole time. And we're so competitive that I'd bring like Monster Mash, and then he'd bring like 18 Eradicators, and it would just be the most the stupidest.
Play
back
for your
and
top
forth.
tables.
But yeah, that's another benefit of team events is he's probably going to come out to some of those. And aside from like the actual like pairings themselves, like team events are like phenomenal time with the guys.
Oh, it's so fun.
Like, they're way more fun. I think it's how 40K is competitive is meant to be played. Singles is just like
that's just his excuse
it's
for not winning singles events.
So singles, because it's just a win path, right?
Yeah.
And don't say anything. Anybody can win. That's the thing. Singles, anybody can win a singles event. Depending on their win path and dice, anybody can do it. Even this big dumb idiot.
What? But you know what? In a team event, though, what I find is that you're at a singles event, we're all cheering for each other. Hey, man, yeah, good job. You won your last round or whatever. And then we go against each other like, no, I hate you. Now we're enemies, right? Yeah. Now I want you to lose. But in a team event, we are literally cheering for each other.
Yeah.
We actually have your best interest in mind all the time.
The Airbnb beers taste so much better after a team event.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, they do.
They're nice. It's nice time that you can appreciate with. So it's like same thing as like being on a sports team when you're younger, almost.
Sure.
Yeah.
Just like a tournament away, like a weekend, and then like even just like talking shit, like and like last time we went out, we were with you guys, and we were just chirping each other the whole time because we had to play each other.
Awesome.
It was sweet.
We got to play each other the next day, but it was so funny because it's like, we got a little drunk the night before. Or did we? No, we didn't. Yeah, we did the first night, right? Was ladies' nights?
Yeah. Ladies' night.
Yeah. Or was it the second night?
It was
the first night.
It was
sorry.
the first night.
Yeah. So then, we got a little, but then in the morning, nobody talked to each other. Like either team,
I
just stayed away from each other.
I had too much, and I slept through my alarm, and then Adam had to wake me up out of bed.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and then I crawled. Well, we knew we were gonna beat you guys anyway, so it didn't really matter.
Oh, easy.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, it was funny because we got second and you got first, so like our Airbnb just went to the tournament and took first and second.
There you go. We got to make sure we get that same Airbnb. Then that was probably the.
Is that the one you booked?
The
Sorry,
trap
the
house? No.
What?
No.
Was it taken?
Well, we only have 6 people on our
5.
team this time.
But 5
people staying in the
5
Airbnb.
people staying.
And
Tony will probably come and hang out at night though. And
Yeah,
that's
I imagine. And I think he's probably staying with Ed and Mark and all those boys. Those guys are awesome,
Yeah.
so they'll probably stop by too.
How big is the place? Because there's a few SAS guys that might come over
I
just
think
to
it's
hang
just
out.
5 beds, which is good. Somebody was
Okay.
sleeping on the couch.
Okay, cool. Cool. Yeah, no, team events, phenomenal. Looking forward to them this summer.
Yeah, I got 2, right? Because we got the one in Edmonton, then I got one in a couple weeks actually in Kelowna.
Kelowna, yeah, and there's golden tickets for that also.
There's 2 golden tickets. 2. So it feels bad for sure. But I think it's about the team being together, and then we're all going to vote who gets it, if we even win it, right? So
You're going to vote? Should just roll a dice.
Or roll a dice. I don't know. I don't think we determine. It's all about really. I don't want to stand in anyone's way if they really want to go. I mean, we have a lot of events coming up too that have a bunch of them. So
I want as many Calgary guys as possible to go. So we should
Yeah.
probably look at it. Well, again, I have no stake in who gets the ticket, but you should look in who is basically the most eligible to win tickets later in the season, and then don't give the tickets to those people just so we have the most. Yeah. No, seriously.
Adam's not going to be happy about that.
Adam could probably win a singles event if I'm not going or something. No, I'm just kidding.
I think he's won 2 with you.
There's
in
just
it.
so many
He's won
variables.
one.
No,
A
2.
ticket's never
Which one?
guaranteed.
I was away for Worlds in the Orchard.
Orchard, he beat you.
No, it's the.
Oh, but
last
he didn't
one.
win Orchard. No, he did win Orchard.
He did.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. No, I lost to
Won
Gord in
something.
that one too.
Yeah, you went 3-2.
Damn it! Everybody, shut up. Yeah.
Well, I'm going to Worlds. Just got a 3-2 this tournament here, and I'm going to Worlds.
That's so messed up. If you had to play that GSC list, and that,
I did play GSC that tournament, and I won by 2 points.
you know, I'm gonna shoot.
But do you know what? I got lucky because because Death Guard played like such a late game that I wasn't really killing his stuff for when he comes back on 4s. So he's just coming back on 5s when I started killing everything.
I was killing all the stuff, and all the 4s were rolling.
I bet.
I had to kill every single one of his 6 big squads, 6 pure strain gene stealers and 6 of the aberrants. I just 3 pure strain and 3 aberrants. I'd kill them all of them twice.
Like Angron, hey? You know you do that to
Yeah,
people.
now you know how it feels.
Now you know how it feels.
Oh my god! Make Angron like 80 points less and give him -1 damage and take away his comeback rule.
What if he just comes back with
That'd
like
be
8 wounds? That's cool.
That's fine. Whatever. I just won't throw him in front of people. Then I'll just have to play him a little smarter. But there's also Western Canadian Team Championships
In Saskatoon.
Which is going to be in,
I didn't know about that.
Which is going to be in September. It's going to be a 6-round event this year, and last year they had 4 golden tickets.
Cool.
And all the
4-man teams, right?
6-man this year.
6-man.
Oh.
Yes, they might be getting 6 golden tickets. But all the SAS guys on my team, I've made an agreement where if I haven't won a golden ticket by then I'll go with a Calgary team. But if I have won a golden ticket by then I'll shop on their team and do whatever.
Okay, then we'll just go and take it away.
Yeah, whatever.
Yeah, we'll just make a Calgary team.
Whatever.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Some strong people that go there.
Oh,
Yeah,
for sure.
We came second at the Canadian Team Championships 2 years ago. Not last year, the year before.
Oh,
A
nice.
half team Ottawa, half team.
We
Sask.
lost to Riley's team.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What did Riley say he was playing these days? I think
Yanari?
no, because he used to run something else.
I think
for
he is on
Team
Yanari.
Canada. He did that last event, but he said like that was his last event with
No,
Eldar for a while
he's on for teams. He's on Yanari. That's what it says on their matchups.
for Team Canada.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, he's on Eldari.
Maybe then. Yeah.
But I don't talk to him. I just see those things.
Hmm.
It says he's Eldari.
He's every time I have an Eldar question, I send him a picture of a sprue because I have a ton of like old sprues. I send him a picture. I'm like, "What the hell is this?" And he's like, "Oh, it's an autark." And I'm like, "Sick." he's like a bank, like a wealth of information. Like it's sick. He's
Cool.
he's a sweet resource. But so that's coming up as well. So lots of
Lots
team
of
events.
Well, we got starting next weekend. So the 22nd or 21st. What's the Saturday?
This next weekend is not one though.
No. But the following.
the 22nd is just an RTT.
Yeah, but we got the RTT, and then there's a Kelowna event, which
Yeah.
I'm going to, and then there's Fool's Errand, And then after that is Edmonton Open team event.
Yep.
Then there's a bit of a break. Actually, there's West Coast.
West Coast.
Right after that. And so that's 5 weeks for some people. I think Adam's 5 weeks.
He's doing all 5.
Because he's at West Coast.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think that
Oh
was the
my
5th one. That was the
God.
nail in the coffin right there.
Holy crap!
So I think Adam's at 5, and then there's a break.
Classics
and then we're going
on the
right into
17th.
May, into 17th. And then we got Kelowna teams.
Kelowna
No, singles.
on May 24th.
Kelowna singles,
And
yeah.
then I just have Goonhammer for June 21st.
G-Dub opens the weekend
But
before.
the weekend before is G-Dub Open.
You got your ticket for that, right?
I did.
Yeah, okay.
I got like $110 ticket for
Me
that,
too.
which is nice.
Yeah.
That's-
You?
I
No, I got the 200.
Oh.
Yeah.
You know what got me? Because it makes you set a password that's like 12 characters long, and you
This
have
guy
to have
can't remember that.
symbols.
What password you put in?
I auto-filled the password, and then when I tried to sign
Yeah.
in, it didn't remember.
What's
So I
your
was like,
social insurance number?
and then I did it later that night, and then it was $200.
Yeah, no, because we're
That's a very expensive mistake.
because
You're still paid
We're
anyways.
practicing with your 5-man team, well, 4-man team, a couple weekends ago.
2-man team.
And I was talking
2-man.
to
There's only Jeremy and me that showed up.
and I was talking to Darren there, and I was like, "So did you get a ticket for G-Dub Open?" And he's like, "No, not yet. I'm gonna get one though." And I'm like, "Dude, they're like $240 right now."
Yeah.
And he's like, "What the fuck?"
Mm-hmm.
It was crazy.
It's gonna be a pretty fun time though.
It'll be sick.
Yeah,
It'll be unreal.
I think Aiden bought the VIP one.
I think everybody's going.
I think everybody.
Everybody. There's like 50 people from Calgary.
The only thing that sucks for me is that was the same weekend as one of my friends' weddings. Well, it's like I met them a couple times, but they invited like me and my girlfriend to go. My girlfriend really wants to go, so I'm like, oh. So
Is it in Edmonton? Maybe.
It's not in Edmonton.
Just sneak away, take a
I
picture,
know.
come back.
Well, I have the ticket. I really want to go, but we'll see. It might be a case of not Warhammer coming first.
My best friend's weekend wedding is the following weekend. I would not be going to the GW Open if it was the same weekend. So
Okay, I got to make sure Shay doesn't watch this podcast.
you might be in trouble.
Well, it's such a big deal. I mean, it's here in Edmonton, Western Canada.
Yeah.
It's massive.
Does that mean it's happening every year now?
I don't
If
know.
it is a good turnout, like I was talking to Jeremy Atkinson, and he said if you guys fill it up and it's a good event,
What
then
do you mean
yeah.
if we fill it up, is he not going to go?
He's there.
going.
Yeah.
He's a
Everybody.
TO.
Oh.
Yeah,
Sweet.
so get on his good side. Actually, no, don't get on his good side. He said he treats people he knows worse at tournaments. So I was like, I hope you get a severe
Oh, God.
concussion and forget ever knowing me. Yeah.
Well, it's sold out. Like what?
Is it
3
sold
days
out now?
I don't know. I think so. I saw a post on Gamescom.
Oh,
I'm sure it is. Because people are going to come up from all over, including the States.
lots from the States, lots from even the Eastern Canada guys were
Yeah.
complaining that we were getting an event.
But they're all
I know.
planning their trip here.
I know, and I was like, dude, you have 24 golden tickets over 3 team events. You can let us have a large event.
What do we have so far right now? 2 that are actually announced
Yeah,
For tickets?
in Alberta.
Alberta has
2
for
right
the
now.
classic. Yep.
That's it. That's the only ones announced.
Yeah. We should do a
so there'll be more maybe.
we should do a small
so?
segment at some point talking about like golden tickets and actually what you get for it.
We can do it right now.
Okay.
Why not? You know, we're going for a team event. We talked about teams, and this conversation's kind of turned into talking about Hammer.
So we mentioned
competitive play, anyways.
We've mentioned golden tickets quite a few times, and basically, for those who don't know, the certain events can apply for golden tickets, and usually the events need to be a certain size, and they need to have been run consistently for like a year or so before, and then Games Workshop will grant them golden tickets. And what these tickets do is they grant you access to play in the World Championships of Warhammer. And this is an invite-only tournament, and it's the only way to go and play there. So you still have to pay for like your hotel or your flights, or unless you win a G-Dub Open, and then they cover, I think, either your flights or your accommodation.
I think some events are also putting some of the prize support towards
Goonhammer
airfare. Or
I think Goonhammer was $600.
I think there's a couple tournaments there
Yeah,
doing that.
which I'm honestly
That's
kind of
awesome.
Yeah, it's great.
Yeah.
I'm honestly kind of worried for though, because money makes people do a lot of stuff they wouldn't normally do in the game, and any
You
tournament
think like cheaters?
and any tournament I've been to that has like a good cash prize, there's been like some weird stuff happening.
I noticed that a lot in competitive Magic, because like a lot of the prizing, some of them were like $10,000.
Wow.
Like for the first place person, they might do some shit. There was one person. He was on camera shuffling his deck, but like grabbing the bottom card and of the because you grab the opponent's deck a lot to like shuffle, just like how like you cut your decks for objectives, like your opponent's deck. Yeah. So you're cutting it, but you shuffle, and he would see a land card and he just like grab it and put it on the top, really really quick and sly, just like this, and then he'd give it to them, and all of a sudden they draw their hand and it's full of lands.
Okay.
Most of these.
Do you guys understand that at all?
No.
I mean,
Well, it makes sense.
Yeah, you're just
what
loading.
saying.
like he's just like a deer caught in headlights there. So
Okay, it was better. I thought you were going to talk about people hiding cards in their God-given pocket.
We've had people cheat in Calgary where this kid, he'd open up his hand and then, or he'd shuffle and he'd like kind of like shove it into his lap. And then when he was picking up his hand for the turn, he just grabbed like this. There's people who did that. That was easily caught though, and he got banned for 2 years from Sentry Box. And anyways, that's 10 years ago.
Beside the point. But.
Yeah. But when there's cash prizes, people tend to...
Money does things to people. But anyway, so the World Championships is in Atlanta, and it's a really, really cool experience. And everybody that's known me since I played in 9th knows that I normally quit the game for a long time. I go like I play for a little bit and then I'll I'll go for a little bit, then I'll quit for like 8 or 9 months. But I actually had the privilege of going to the World Championships this past year, and to be honest, it's probably the one of the only reasons why I'm still. And I guess we got a good team of guys. I guess.
Pretty good group of guys.
While I'm still
fun here in Calgary.
While I'm still rolling 40K consistently, because it's such like it's a crazy experience. And especially like something that started out as like just a fun hobby is like being a part of something that the entire community is talking about is like a crazy feeling. And like I hope that this motivates like the hell out of anybody that like wants a ticket to go. But it was like by far like the coolest thing I've ever done for 40K. And like my love for the game just went like through the roof. You're playing other tournament winners, the best players in the world.
You were on stream too.
I played on the official GW stream against one of the only players from Singapore who we took to Hooters after the game.
Oh, that's fun. I think that's another thing that people don't talk much about tournaments too. Like they are fun, it's competitive, it's hard. Yeah. But they don't talk about like going to lunch and after going to dinner with everybody when you're traveling. Like, that's some of the funnest part about it. Like and get to know the guys. Well, we all did that ladies' night thing. Like that was just hilarious.
Yeah, 100%.
Right? And we went to Japanese Village that
played
other
mini
time.
putt. Yeah.
Yeah, mini putt.
I tried to cheat on the scorecard.
And
and David called me out on it. And that actually wasn't on purpose, but it was funny.
It's like we tied, and it was like, there's no way we tied. You had way more strokes than
I want to do like the glow in the dark one or that monster one next time.
Yeah.
Isn't that what's supposed to be worse?
I don't know.
Whatever.
I want to go to the West Edmonton Mall wave pool.
Dude, apparently there's lots of kids that get touched at that wave pool.
After 9 p.m., they don't let kids go.
No, seriously. So,
what the hell?
I knew a police officer. He was like, do not take your kids to the Edmonton Water Park. Anyway, on that's the end of that segment.
Fucking move on.
Anyway.
Who hired this guy?
I'm the dad.
Sorry, Dad. So golden tickets. Worlds was crazy. Like I got to play people that I like when I started the game, I used to watch their streams and I used to watch and learn from them playing. Like I had to play Jack Harpster. And he's somebody that like I used to follow like decently closely and like trying to learn a lot from. And it was kind of nice just like standing across like table and like playing somebody like that. I played another Art of War player that just won that big GT with Imperial Knights we were talking about, Brian Jones.
Yeah.
He's the Knights player for Team USA. He was my last round at the tournament. I played a few guys in Team Canada. It's just like it's crazy. It's only 2 rounds a day, so it's super laid back. But you get like
4 rounds too, hey?
Yeah. You get a huge like welcome box when you first show up. It's got lots of good stuff in.
How big is the tournament? How many players?
260-ish.
Yeah, that's quite a bit. That's good.
But I want to say everybody there's won a tournament, but I know there's a lot of best overall inclusions, and there are certainly some guys that are there for a good time. But your odds are you're going to run into somebody that's won like a GT plus event.
And no discredit to the Tabletop Titans guy, but Adrian was there and he got a best overall to get in. Yeah, and I know he didn't. I think he got like 2 and 6.
Yeah.
Right, but he had a good time. He had a great great experience, and plus he's like such a well-known person in the community that he probably should be there anyways. Yeah. Right.
Yeah. It's like walking in and seeing like Richard Siegler just like chilling in the lobby. And he's shorter than you think he is. Like he's a short dude, but you go and it's just weird. Just like
I never thought of how short he was.
Yeah, you're welcome. There you go. But it's just weird walking in and like seeing and being a part of that. It's just like completely next level for the game and being like internationally with the guys, going and checking out like the world class aquarium together. Like they have whale sharks there and like everything's just crazy.
If we go, that's what we're doing.
Honestly, man, like the aquarium was where we all like turn the corner. And like the glass is as big as like a movie screen, and it's this huge room, and none of the guys said anything. We all just like walked in and quietly sat down, and like you just watch. I swear to God, aquariums are like therapy for men. You just sit there and you just like watch the fish. But like that's where I promised myself I was like I'm gonna go back next year too, and it's like it's crazy. It is probably my favorite 40K thing I've done.
You
ever.
named your list. I'm just here for the aquarium, didn't you?
I literally did, and then like as a joke, and then I went there, and I'm like, this is going to be unironically the name of the next list that I do if I go again.
Still here for the aquarium.
Yeah, still here for round 2 of the aquarium.
Awesome.
But it was
that's really cool.
It was crazy. Like if you get the chance to go, like I know it seems like a pain in the butt, and like nobody really likes spending out a lot of money on like Warhammer events, but like completely like once in a lifetime, like crazy, super wild.
Yeah, I think I'd rather do that than like go to Disney World or something, because I know that Disney World's around there too, isn't it?
What would your kids rather?
They'd rather watch.
They don't get a choice.
Are the kids paying?
Yeah. Whoa, wait. Yeah. No, but she might hang around, right? Play at the Warhammer table. She was hanging around when we played the other day. Yeah. Who knows?
Yeah, but it was phenomenal. And if you guys get the chance, like absolutely 100%, like just do it.
Do we know if Edmonton has golden tickets?
Don't know yet.
No.
I'm in like
Scotty, if you're listening, just let us know.
Please.
That'd be. Do you know if they got 6? They're not gonna get 6.
No.
But that would be crazy.
I think they still have some openings for the event. I think there's enough for one more team or 2 more teams.
Yeah. Trident usually does some bigger singles events later in the year. Yeah. And they'll probably they do lots of events. So I'm sure they'll get another ticket.
I think the Edmonton Open's been confirmed for being ticketed.
Cool. When's that?
October.
Later in the year, yep.
That was the one we went to last year.
Worlds?
November.
Because LVO was just announced to be in October now, right?
Yep.
Yes.
Really?
Yes.
Oh, wow. Probably same weekend as
because they want Worlds to be the end of the
season. They want World, yeah.
That makes sense.
So it's
that makes a lot of sense.
It's kind of cool. Like same thing as LVO, just being present for like all the the huge announcements and stuff, and like all the stuff like GW is doing for the game. Like I knew that we were getting like new detachments and for like Grobmas before like anybody else that wasn't there in person, because I was like there in person, and it's just like it's kind of cool to be like a part of that as well.
Yeah, you feel like you're a part of something.
But it's
bigger.
Yeah, it was well run this year. Apparently a lot better run than the year before. And it's going to be even better this year.
That was the second year, right?
Yeah. And like before, people were playing like 12 games. Like I think Manny Chima and John Lennon had to stay up like overnight. Like you got like 3 hours of sleep and then it's do like the final game. But this time they do like a pod format. So there's basically like, I forget how many people are on my pod, like 15 or 16. And then there's 4 rounds. The first 2 days are whoever wins your pod. So you're basically playing like however many
mini
RTTs.
Yeah.
And then you graduate and then you can play in the like the top bracket. But if you don't do that, then you're playing whoever had the same record as you through like that RTT.
Okay, so you still don't lose out on game. Well, you get to play a max of 8 games.
Everybody plays 8 games.
Minimum, yeah.
Yeah.
Unless you drop because you're angry.
If you drop it, if you expect to win at the World Championships, like they literally to send out a disclaimer email saying, look, we know some of you have not lost in like months, maybe a year. Everybody but one of you is going to lose this weekend. They're like, do not take it personally. Some of you have won GTs and you won't even win a single game. They needed to send that out and be like, we need everybody.
It's probably fair.
And then Death Watch won.
we need everybody to calm down.
No, Custodes won.
Custodes won.
Oh, was it good?
You're thinking LVO.
I'm thinking LVO. Yeah, what am I?
Yeah.
Folger. Yeah, Folger Pals.
Folger won.
Yeah. I don't, because my game finished pretty late that last game, and then I looked over, and that's when I saw, like,
John
doing like the worship thing to like what they did at the end of the game, like when Folger won.
Oh.
And like that's when I knew it was crazy. It's crazy to be there, like in person.
I only really watched one full game. The rest just caught in bits. It was just your game that I watched.
Yeah. Good information session.
No, it was good.
I'm just kidding. It was. Yeah.
It was a cool. I really like that play that he made to stop you from quitting primary. Just heroic with the flayed ones. Because you were trying to steal his primary. He's like, no.
Yeah.
Here, I'll give you these guys. You
Yeah.
can't do anything.
Yeah, it was good.
It was a good play.
The only thing is, I spent 3 turns setting up big 8-bound plays, and then on the turn that I got the big 8-bound plays, they cut to AOS.
Oh yeah.
Everybody in the chat's like, dude, what is going on?
Yeah. Okay. Well, I mean, so we talked about worlds. Now let's go. Do we need to cover any more on teams, or do we feel like we covered it all? Like if you were a new person, like, what the fuck is teams? Do you think we covered it?
Just play your best list. Have fun with your friends.
Mm-hmm.
Read the players pack so you know what pairings are happening. And if you have any questions, you can shoot us a message.
I think
we can help you out.
I think one big piece of advice, especially in the smaller 4-mans or 5-mans, I think you always really do want to throw your worst matchup defenders really up there. I think that's if you're gonna take out anything out of this, really throw that one up, because it just makes your pairing process a little bit easier, and your team can score a little bit closer.
And you know that by making your matrices if you want to do that step. Otherwise, you could make some mistakes in the pairing process if you're not prepared.
For sure. And feel free to in the comments, just, let us know, and we can share some of our matrices or what we think are good matchups or bad matchups, and if it helps you along, that's what we're here for. So
yeah.
And I think fundamentally, like, kind of stripping everything away, like, the most important thing is just like showing up to the tournament. Like, I know it's like when I first started, like, I got nervous going to tournaments.
Sure.
But it's like super, super chill, super laid back. And like, this hobby gets 15 times better when you're involved in the community and you're friends with people. Like, I'm friends with Kass. And then, but yeah, seriously, like, show everybody super, and you're never, even in a team event, sign up with your buddies, and then you're gonna learn. You're gonna learn for the team event after that. Same thing with, like, you'll never learn better than having to do the pairing process 4 times in a row and seeing what happens.
Losing in teams also feels way better than losing in singles. So if you're new to the tournament scene, go to a team.
Unless you're specifically the reason why your team lost. then never come again.
Didn't you lose the last one?
Yeah,
and then he won. Let's get real here.
What?
He just won the last team event.
Oh, that doesn't count though.
Yeah.
He won the credit card event.
The credit card event.
Yeah.
The great.
I
for a good cause.
didn't play a single game with an extra unit.
We don't need
No,
to
you
get
actually
into
gave
that.
away the one you won.
I gave away all the
Yeah,
units
because
I
you saw
bought.
that his team already
It's
had
for charity.
3,500 extra points. That was crazy. But yeah.
And that's true, right? Like, if you do lose, but your rest of your team's winning, then you're winning too, right?
Yeah.
And that's what I'm saying. Like, everyone has their best interest in mind, or their teammates' best interest in mind.
Yeah. And if everybody loses, then it's like, okay, well,
We lost.
we're losers together.
Quiet
then we're
quiet
losing
drive
together.
home from Edmonton.
It was all your fault.
Yeah. No music, no nothing. Yeah.
Well, we got a couple more minutes. Oh wow! Oh, it feels like this flies by. Do you want to talk about Dataslate?
We can get into it for 5 minutes.
Let's do it.
Okay. So, predictions.
Eldar going up. Good.
Yeah,
I think the standard list is going up 60 to 100 points.
I think 100. Yeah,
Yeah.
around there. So you got what? Fire Dragon's probably going up 5 a model.
5 a model.
Well, 10
that's
for
25
the
points.
unit.
10 for the unit. Yeah.
10 for the
yeah.
unit.
I was like, okay, I could.
Because 5 for 5 and then 10 for.
I could see them going up 20
A
points,
10.
to be honest.
Yeah,
They do a lot.
they tend to do multiple nerfs, not just like one heavy-handed nerf.
Say that to Sisters players.
Well, you got miracle dices. Why don't you just use your
don't got them
fake
anymore.
luck?
They don't even exist
You
anymore.
get enough.
You get like 2.
It's
the whole game now.
good.
Yeah.
It's such a bad mechanic.
I think they're trying to take that mechanic out of the game.
I think so too. Yeah.
But the only problem you run into with the Eldar nerfs is, this is my belief, the Ynnari detachment is so much better than the other detachments. If you're only nerfing points, for Ynnari to be in a balanced space, the other Eldar detachments are going to have to be really bad.
Well, I think they are actually. It's speculation. It's hard to speculate, but there were some leaks that said like Asserman's actually just getting a rules change, and now he's
5 up.
5 up
Yeah.
for dev wounds.
Yeah, 5 up for a critical hit.
Critical hit.
wins. Yeah.
And I heard, and you know what, this podcast actually might come out. So these are all speculations. We don't actually know anything.
Yeah.
I think it's actually probably going to come out the day the data slate comes out. So you'll hear this and be like, oh wow, they were on point or they weren't. They were way off. I think I heard a rumor too with the Slanesh demons transferring of wounds might change as well.
Yeah.
It might
visible.
to visible, and it might even change to 2 CP.
Yeah,
Makes sense.
and it's looking like all the demon detachments are, as shown in the EC book, are going to be transferred over to the demons faction. So like, there's some war gear changes on the
bad.
Especially
For a keeper?
for the keepers, so they lose a feel no pain.
The 5-up feel no pain? Like,
Yeah.
what's the point of taking that point of model now? Like, that's a huge... Like, what are you going to get, a 3-up armor instead of a 5-up feel no
the
pain?
detachment's about to catch a hard nerf, and then their models are going to become immediately a third less durable.
You know what? That...
They deserve
the
it.
Zinj Demons just won a GT in Australia.
Yeah.
That's kind of cool.
Nerf it.
Plague Legion is actually not doing terrible, which that was a surprise to me. I thought that
Nerf
was just...
it. Everything.
I
Go
thought it was
down the
awful.
list.
The funny one,
Yeah.
the one that I thought would do the best is actually the worst. The Blood Legion.
I
corn one?
like
I
corn
like
rolls.
that one.
I do too.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not performing at tournaments.
Because the data sheets are not that great.
Right.
Yeah.
I actually think the rules on flat, if they were the same data sheets, are better in the corn one. But the Slanesh data sheets are so much better than the corn data sheets, and the Slanesh specific detachment shores up a lot of the weaknesses that Slanesh had, which was getting caught in combat with tough stuff.
Sure.
Yeah. And then what else?
Bridgehead.
Apparently, Bridgehead's getting nuked.
What do you just increase in points in Tempest Scions?
I think it's changing from +1 to wound to +1 to hit.
Wasn't that before though?
+1 to hit was before, and then it
Yeah.
became +1 to wound.
They already
with the new
have
codex.
access to +1 a hit, though, don't they?
They have access to
If they come out of a Torox, they
It's
do.
an order.
because they're re-rolling all hits anyway. I know that Bridgehead's coming down quite a lot.
They're just gonna take a nerf, probably on the point side, maybe the rule side as well. I don't think it's that strong of a detachment. It is kind of nuts when they come out and they get like literally reroll hits, +1 a hit, +1 a wound, sustained. What else? Like probably reroll
Plus-
wounds.
When you have like
Reroll.
when you have a 10-man Tempest Scions killing like a Mortarion, I think that's a little crazy.
Does
It's
it
like
kill
100
Mortarion?
Yeah, it does. Yeah, it sure does.
yeah.
Those plasma guns, man. And also I had to I had to roll a little low on my saves.
Sure.
But yeah, it does.
Yeah.
And one activation kills an entire Death Shroud squad.
Yeah, and you get
one
three.
activation.
You get 3 of those units too, and the caster can come out and they grenades and they melt a mine and they shoot. Yeah, it is a lot. That list could go up another.
There's
100
a lot of
points.
layers onto it. Yeah, for sure.
It probably does need to take a rules change though, because once you take 100 points off, suddenly there's just not enough in the list.
Sure. Yeah, and I think like you said, because they have so many units, if you do increase the points on them, they're gonna have a lot less and a lot less resources, and I think they can be shut down pretty easily.
Yeah.
World leaders.
No changes. No changes to
I don't
world
think so
leaders.
either.
Anything that's hovering around like a 45 to 50% win rate, 48% win rate isn't going to get changed.
World leaders feel fine. If anything, the only thing that might change is Demon Princes might go down a bit because there's no list with them in right now, unless you're playing the new detachment, which is in general not doing as well.
And they just took a points decrease last
time.
slate or MFM.
Yeah, and they're still just not too great.
They probably won't change anything in EC just because the MFM just already came out.
Well,
so.
EC isn't even out yet.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So they won't see a change.
So unless they're GW sat there watching YouTube videos going, "Oh, Art of War said this isn't strong. We must buff it before it comes out."
I wouldn't be surprised if they did a data slate, and then after Eldar have settled in and EC have settled in, then they'll do an MFM like 3 weeks a month from now. That's my prediction.
It's weird for them to do that apart though, as opposed to just like here's the meta and let's let it see what happens.
They've done it before, but they keep changing how they're releasing updates, which is good. Like I'd rather updates are regular and not set date wise, and just when it feels appropriate.
Yeah.
Sure.
It used to be horrible, like in 9th when they thought they were like restricted to dates to nerf.
Yeah.
Like Harlequins took like I think 7 nerfs until they were like balanced. And the last nerf was literally like, okay, we can't fix your codex, so we're moving the entire 4-up invul up to a 5-up. And then that's when the faction
or at the start
Yeah.
of 10th when Eldar were really strong, and then they took a nerf and they were still way too strong, and then it's like, okay, I guess we got another 3 months of this, 3 to 6 months of
Yeah.
this.
And who knew it was fate dice?
Yeah.
Just take the fight dice.
Well, they
Take it to 6.
They knew it was good. Like I was at a tournament in what month did 10th edition come out?
June
10th
2023.
Yeah. Sounds right.
I was at a tournament in I think beginning of May, and at this tournament there was a dude who has access to a lot of GW information, and he basically told me that Eldar was already like the best codex he's ever seen in his life, like the best index he's ever seen. So like GW was like very aware when it came out. Like nothing ever will be as egregious as what Votan was going to be when it first came out.
Oh yeah, that was crazy.
They actually need to publish an apology for that. But
people were banning people from bringing the army to tournaments. I remember that.
Yeah, exactly. I remember that too. Yeah, you can't play this. No Votan.
Yeah,
that's crazy.
The book was useless on release.
Yeah,
it was garbage.
So what do we think needs to come up a little bit? Like what do we think needs to?
Drukhari maybe needs a little bit of love.
I think they're still good.
Specific players are good with them, but the general people, Anthony Richardson and Anthony Dalalana are both pretty good too.
Yeah.
Just like the general player playing it's not doing great with it.
I think anything that needs to come up, any armies that come up are coming up a very small amount.
I think
they're getting like another 40 to 50 points maximum.
I think for the most part, the format's quite balanced, and to consider like the next 2 months, there's 3 codexes coming out on top of EC.
Yeah,
right. That's a whole meta shift right there. Yeah. We don't know how good these are going to be.
To be honest, even with Ynnari and Bridgehead right now, like this meta is like compared to how it's been before 9th. Like when new Custodes came out, when new Harlequins came out, when new Tyranids came out, it was like there was always a big bad. When Desolators first came out, there was always like a big bad that you absolutely did not want to run into because it was just an unfair game.
Yeah. This is the least balance it's been for like 6 months.
Yeah.
So it's still the game's still in a very healthy state.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Well, it's pretty unbalanced. I found when Sisters came out, that was pretty crazy.
Yeah.
That was a little nuts
when they came out
last June.
Well,
last summer.
The index was stronger than the book.
Not Bringer of Flame. No way.
I don't know, because you took a points increase when the book came out. Mm-hmm. So before the book came out, you had your index, which was very strong, and you had like an extra 200 points to play with.
Yeah, but the effect of like everything having assault and having what Morvenn Vahl could do, and she was actually better in the codex, and then the ability to move as much times like anywhere you want and have the free dev wound strat. It was quite oppressive. Yeah. I found like anything I did, like it didn't matter what the opponent was doing.
I will concede that they were similar power levels.
The Bringer of Flame and
Index.
Well, it's hard to consider because the Arcos took a nerf. Because the Arcos were much better in the Index because they had a 4-up Feel No Pain.
Yeah.
Right? That's just crazy. At 2 wounds a model, a 4 Feel No Pain.
Yeah.
I've actually always been a fan of Martyrs because I like the strat to force something to fight something.
That's the Index.
Is like ridiculous.
Yeah. The index, every single strat in the index was really good, and you had like an extra 200 points.
Well, and you got +1 a wound at that time too with the index, but then you lost it in the codex.
Yeah,
you didn't have it anymore.
I'm running into the same problem with World Eaters, where like the index detachment, like I don't know what else you could ask for that's not in that detachment that you could possibly want apart from like new units.
You need the +1 attack and strength almost in like every detachment.
And you get +1 a wound, and you can bleed on an objective, and you get the auto 6, and it's like, dude, well, what else would you want? What else could I want for this?
Yeah.
Like, it's crazy good. I'm surprised it's not doing better. Like I still feel like so confident with that. Like World Leaders are in a great spot, but I can't think of anything else specifically.
Sisters probably going to see a bit of a decrease in points.
Yeah, you could use a buff.
I see a lot of people crying for help with Sisters in Reddit forums.
Oh yeah, they're all
crybabies.
Yeah, they're all crying. Yeah, they're all crying. I'm not. I'm good.
Yeah. Well, that's because you switched back to Death Guard.
Wow, it's my main army.
Now you're just stinky.
Yeah.
Well, it conveniently wasn't your main army when Sisters was the best army in the game, and now I'm on Ynnari, so I guess we're the same person.
I played Sisters. It was exactly the same thing you're doing right now, because I played Sisters in 9th.
Yeah, I like and
I was like, oh, Codex coming up. I guess I'll get on my my Sisters.
Yeah. To kind of everything else I can think of that would really help the game, the Ynnari detachment rule going to immediately rather than end of shooting phase would help tremendously.
For that auto move.
It would still be strong, and it would help me hide units, but it wouldn't let you not interact with me at all. And I think that would just be healthier for the game.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Yeah, that's a good point.
I think that pretty much covers most of everything else. Is kind of.
I'm not expecting huge shifts.
Yeah. It's probably just I think that this big data slate's going to really try to like push Ynnari down a little bit with demons and just try to like level the playing field into this little
Yeah.
between that 55 and 45, which is the way we want to be anyways,
Yeah.
right? So
I think that if you over adjust points too much, you run the risk of sometimes things get a good win rate just because like they're not pushed, but their natural predators are like not really like around right now. So for example, like Imperial Knights, like World Leaders aren't really like doing great right now, and like World Leaders are pretty well countered by some of the stronger things in the meta right now. Same with like what's another army that's doing
well, Votan's not doing well or wasn't, so the Knights started coming up too with Yunari, right?
Yeah.
Like the natural predator of Knights was Votan.
So I think the right play is not huge adjustments. Like I wouldn't expect anything groundbreaking. New rules are probably like the most that you could possibly ask for, and even that would be a stretch. And realistically, somebody freeing up like 60 or 70 points in their list is really fun for list building, and that's like best case scenario, but it's not like going to completely revolutionize an army.
No, you have to do rule changes for that. Yeah, for sure.
Okay.
I think that kind of wraps it up though.
That's a good pod.
It was a good chat.
Yeah.
Yeah, we talked about teams, and then we started talking about just being out and hanging out at tournaments, and then why you go to tournaments. I think that's a really, really big thing that most people, just here to play games, I'm going to get my ass kicked, and that's it. No, you're hanging out with your friends.
Yeah.
It's something that gets overlooked a lot. And I think a lot of people take this game, I know I was ranting on about the World Championships, but I do think a lot of people take this game a little too seriously. And I think that it's not a bad thing to be serious about the game, but you have to understand that it's a really nice social setting, and it can be a lot more than like just a game. It can be like a friend group, and it can be like a nice kind of like escape on a couple weekends and stuff like that. And if you're like super competitive and you're kind of shutting yourself away from all that, or on the other flip side of it, if you're nervous to kind of start those relationships or show up to your local game store and stuff like that, you could be missing out on it. So I think that's definitely the core of the hobby, and I've always made it a point to, regardless of like how I'm doing at tournaments, not stray away from making that like the first and foremost.
It's well put.
Yeah, I mean, you go against somebody you haven't fought against before, or whatever. It's a new friend in the making.
Gotcha
right?
the hell out of them.
Then he's not your friend anymore. All right, guys, but I think we can end it there. So, hey, if you like our content here, please like, subscribe, leave comments down. I'm sure there's lots of questions. We ask a lot of questions. Ask a lot of questions. We'll try to get to answering it. I know David's always on the comments answering all the questions.
David bullies everybody that comments.
No, he has like big long explanations. It's all good, but please remember to like, subscribe if you do like the content. It does help us out a lot. Helps the algorithms, and gets these videos out to the people who need to see it. So thanks again, and we'll see you next time.
See ya.
Bye.